Welcome into Game Changers. I'm Mike Cunio alongside the one and only Kim Bo
Where's my
by
man?
Himself.
Where's my guard? My bodyguard
Where's your
over
guy?
here.
Where's Goldie? I don't like to guess what city
Floor
he's
director's
in.
always trying to jump at me, and Goldie
I think
blocks
Goldie's somewhere joining us from Toronto. There he
somewhere
is.
cold. I bet you
Toronto,
somewhere
Canada.
cold.
Thanks for hopping on. You look like you're about to call a game
tie,
right now.
Hold and tie.
We got a hockey game, and the shame of it is, Bo Camper, look how far you have slipped over the years. If I'm your bodyguard,
yeah,
you got to be kidding me.
Look,
What are you protecting him from? That's what I want to know.
That's the question. Yeah.
All right.
Well, a band of 10-year-olds. That's what he's going to protect me from.
Listen, NFL fans need some protection from the AFC East after what's happened this year. Guys, outside the Dolphins, who have not been a disappointment, in fact, they're reaching and maybe eclipsing expectations, is the AFC East the most disappointing division in football right now? Goldie, across the border, I'll ask you first.
Yeah, they're asking that here in Toronto. It is the most disappointing. This is I couldn't believe this, okay? I double-checked it. This is the largest lead a team has had in the AFC East going into December in 30 years. Think about that. All those great years the Patriots had, Tom Brady was there all those years, and they never had this big of a lead going into December. Now, obviously, the Jets were doomed when Aaron Rodgers got hurt, but they're still a disappointment. You go and look at New England, how far they've fallen, and then Buffalo might be the biggest shock of all, that they're 6-6. Forget about winning the division. They got to jump over teams like Indianapolis and Houston just to make the playoffs. So the Dolphins have held up their end of the bargain. Nobody else has.
Yeah, but I think you actually give the Jets a pass because of the injury at quarterback, but the Bills, disastrous.
I remember all off season last year. I know when I'm driving, I'm listening to the NFL Network, and and they're talking about the divisions and everything. Oh, that AFC East, man! Look at all the quarterbacks in the AFC East. Man, that's going to be a division. And now it's the runaway division because the Dolphins are running away with it. Quite frankly, if the other teams lose this week and the Dolphins win, they may be about a half a game from clinching this thing. But what happened to all these quarterbacks that were supposed to be doing so many big things in the AFC?
You lose
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
You lose Aaron Rodgers. Josh Allen's not having a season he expected. No. New England, they've ruined that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, what a turnout. And then everyone said, what was the one they were laughing at, the NFC North?
Oh, right, yeah.
And look at what that. They got everybody's in the everyone's in the race.
Everyone's in the mix in some of these divisions, but certainly Miami has just a stranglehold right now in the division, and it's great to see. Now, you mentioned the Patriots, messing up Mac Jones and everything. Goldie, you are our Bill Belichick wins-loss correspondent. So now what's he sitting at now without Mr. Tom Brady?
The numbers are the same internationally here in Toronto. Let me check my handy sheet. Bo, you're going to love this.
You have to pay an extra tariff?
I do have to. Belichick has to pay an extra tariff. Without Tom Brady in his career, Bill Belichick is 82-99. Think about that. 17 games. Forget about winning Super Bowls and making the playoffs. 17 under 500 without him.
You know what that says to me?
Hot seat?
Mediocre. Bad. Overrated.
But is he on the hot seat?
I think he is. I think he is because look, he's almost like a player where you've had a player that's been really good. But he's kind of he's a jerk, and he doesn't do the team stuff. But you can't get rid of him because he's so good. And then all of a sudden, when his talent goes down like this, get the hell out of here. I think that's where Bill Belichick. He's been crusty.
Yeah.
He's been crusty with the owner. He's been crusty with the fans. He's been belligerent and mean to the media. He's not a nice guy. And so, if he was a really nice guy, if he was an Andy Reid, they'd keep him forever.
Yeah.
But for him, I think once he gets down that road, and look, as I said, Mr. Kraft, he built that stadium. He's got a mall around there. He's built a whole new portion of that stadium. Got to fill it up. He can't have a team that goes 10 years of 40,000 fans in that building. So if he has to get rid of Bill Belichick, now's the time to do it.
So my thing with Bill is he was famous years ago for trading or releasing guys before they started to hit the downturn of their careers. It'll be interesting to see if the Patriots take that same approach with Bill Belichick, who's now sits at 2-9 right now on the season.
You know what? That's the one thing I always said about Bill Belichick that I admired about Bill. He knew when to pick somebody up that had just a little bit of gas left that he could get out of.
Yep.
But then he also knew when to get rid of that guy that was just going over the top. So now he's the guy that's just going over the top. Maybe it's time, as you said, brush him away with the rest of the deadwood.
All right, guys, we're going to keep the Patriots talk going here, sort of. I know this is a South Florida show, but Tom Brady made headlines this week saying, play in the NFL is down right now.
He must have watched the games this weekend.
And you know what? But it's funny because Alex Smith came to the defense of really the league and said, look, Tom, I don't know how you could say this because you played in arguably the worst division in football for 20 years. So, guys, honestly, who's right here? Is it Alex Smith, former Chiefs quarterback, or is it Tom Brady, the 7-time Super Bowl winner? Goldie?
Well, I'll tell you this. I think we're getting a little bit of Brady now that he's done. A little bit of that old guy kind of looking back, get off my lawn back in the day.
Yeah.
I don't think the game is worse. Now, I will say this, and we talked about this last week, besides that great Eagles Buffalo game, which was an epic, shootout there. Team that had the ball last, literally won the game. For the most part, it's become more of a defensive league. You see a lot of these 21-20 games, but I think Tom Brady's kind of being that old bitter guy a little bit, saying, well, back in my day, and Alex Smith does have a point. For the most part, the division wasn't very good for a number of years.
Well, he was just playing. He gave him the tuck rule, so that gave him a little more juice and stuff. So they fed him greatness at every opportunity, no doubt about it. But I would say this. Looking at the games this weekend, and I rarely get to be home on a Sunday and watch games and then watch other games. Man, some of those games were really hard to watch. That game last night, no touchdown.
Terrible.
I mean, you're putting up that for the nation to watch? Yeah. Oh, my gosh. I mean, and no reason people are starting to say, hey, what's going on with the NFL? Yeah. Look, I've been a guy like that for me. And look, I could very easily be that, back in the day when we had the Chuck Knowles and the Don Shulas and the Vince Lombardis. That was a tough guy game. I'm not that guy, but I'm seeing a decay in the quality of play in the game as we move forward, as they've given. Look at, you're talking about quarterbacks not playing well now. All the rules have been changed to help the quarterbacks post big numbers. And this sad effect, the sad state of quarterbacks in the National Football League right now, stop drafting those quarterbacks from Alabama. They can't play in this league. They can't play in this league.
There's only one that can.
Listen,
and that's number one.
I think both have valid points, but my argument here would be I think if you put Tom Brady and the Patriots in any division, they still would have won.
No doubt. No doubt.
All right, more game
could
changers
have been out our
to
division,
come.
and we could have won some more.
Yeah. More to come on Game Changers. We got to talk about the Canes and the college football playoffs. Some drama surrounding Florida State. Will the Seminoles get into the Final Four? We'll talk about it next. Welcome back to Game Changers. Mike Cunio, Kim Bokamper.
I'm kind of liking this. I'm starting to get
a little spacious over there.
I need to get this music on a loop for me so I can listen with my earbuds and stuff.
And you can spread out because now Goldie's not here. He's somewhere in Toronto.
I'll be back. I'll be back. Don't worry about it.
Looks like he's parking cars or something.
Now that he's not here, I can say it. He's actually getting a little big over here.
He's getting a little too big for his
He's kind of leaning over that belt a little bit. Man.
You guys miss me, and because I'm international, you take the shots.
That's it.
But once I'm back, you don't say a word. Cheap shot artists.
Have some poutine tonight.
We'll say some nice things about you to your face. All right, now speaking of missing someone, will the Miami Hurricanes be missing Tyler Van Dyke? He has entered the transfer portal. He started out great his time here in Miami, ACC Rookie of the Year, but things have since gone south.
Yeah.
Bo, do you think this is the best move for all parties?
I'm going to miss him like I missed that roller coaster, that wooden roller coaster that used to be up on Sterling Road.
Right.
Come on, man.
Because it's been there for he's been there for only about 5 years, much like that roller coaster, and there have been a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah.
A lot of ups and downs. One week you go, hey, we got a Heisman Trophy winner. The next we go, get this bum out of here. It's been a checkered past with Tyler Van Dyke. Yeah. And you know what, the thing, there was a lot of hope. Every year there was a lot of hope in Tyler. This is going to be the year where he shows up. This year he does it. And he's had his games. He's had some games that worked out. But when you look at Tyler Van Dyke in his career at UM as a whole, I would have to say it's been a mediocre career.
Yeah, Goldie?
Well, I give him a little bit more credit. Number one, we know, look, coaching-wise on game day, we've talked about it. I don't think he was I don't think he was put in the best position to succeed.
3 coordinators.
And number two, this is like a post-injury thing. Mm-hmm. He was pretty good while he was healthy. Then he got those multitude of injuries, the ribs and the leg, and he just wasn't the same. So I think it's a natural thing that we're seeing. There's some other guys, Chaney, the running back, is leaving. Some of the guys that Mario did not recruit are hitting the portal. But overall, it ends up, for whatever reason, it ends up as a disappointment for Tyler Van Dyke. There was talk about him going in the first round of the NFL draft earlier this year.
So I think it's his first season in Miami kind of set the expectation so high. When Rhett Lashley left, it ends up being a completely different Tyler Van Dyke. Maybe he ends up at SMU, which would be interesting because then SMU's back competing against teams Miami will be competing against. With them, they're joining the ACC.
What about what's the grade on Mario?
Well, Mario's got $80 million still coming his way, so he ain't,
I don't care about that, but what's the grade?
He ain't going
what's
anywhere.
the grade?
Well,
I know he's not going anywhere, but what's the grade on Mario?
Yeah.
I'll wait for the grade, but I want to wait for the grade for Mario to see who he brings in a quarterback. Yeah. This is kind of like the NFL now that we have the portal
agency.
Or how many he can keep from having a portal that's just an exodus from UM.
Well, I think the portal, you look at the guys leaving, it's all upper grade guys. So he may be telling them, hey, we want to go
Let's get these young guys in. There you go.
I'll tell you this, guys. If he can get Will Rogers from Mississippi State to come in here, and they can coach him properly. Yeah. Now, that guy's got a lot of talent, put up numbers in the SEC. I'd like to see what he can do in the ACC.
Will Rogers?
But overall this year, the grade is a D
Tells some good
best.
Stories, too. Writes books, I think.
I know. As soon as you said it, his ears perked up, and he's like, yes.
Too easy.
I take 3 minutes trying to come up with something to say that makes sense.
All right, we got to talk about Florida State. Their QB situation has them kind of on the ropes in the college football playoff. Selection here. They're 5 at the moment. At the time of this taping, it is Tuesday. It's before the CFP ranking comes out, but still, they still have to get through Louisville in the ACC title game. Goldie, I'll start with you. If Florida State wins out, even though they have their backup quarterback, should the committee still reward them and put them in at least at number 4 to get into the playoff?
Well, I really don't see how you don't. It's unfortunate Jordan Travis isn't there, but we see this all the time in sports where – and again, the quarterback is a key spot, but we see it all the time in sports. You can't assume that they can't compete with any of those teams because the quarterback is out. Now, you got Ohio State with the 1 loss against Michigan. You can claim they're a better team, but my opinion is you go through the ACC, you go undefeated, you deserve to be in that Final Four. Now, they may go out there and get blown out in that semifinal game and lose, 40-15, and everyone will say, see, told you so. Yeah. But if they get through and win the ACC title game over Louisville, I think they deserve it 100%.
I agree. They got the job done. They won all the football games they had to do. They won their championship game. They're ready to go in there. Look, I understand, the quarterback's out, and it's going to be, in your mind, it's going to drop that team down a notch. Who knows if he comes out and lights it up? The backup comes back and lights it up. Right. Who knows? But I just think if they go through that thing, if they earn it the right way, I'd hate to see a 1-loss team jump over them to get in the Final Four.
100%. I'll say this before we wrap up. Look, it's happened before. Ohio State's won national title with a backup quarterback in the college football playoff with Cardale Jones. My big problem with the committee is that they already telegraphed that they do not want them in there because with the backup, Tate Rodemaker putting up 58 points in the game, you'd say, hey, we got to blow these guys out to impress us. He did it. They did it. And they still knocked them down a peg to number 5. So I think that the committee's telegraphing that they don't want FSU
Let's look at the rest of that team.
Oh, we have to go. I'm sorry. We got to go. We got to wrap it up.
No looking at the rest of the team, Bo.
we got to wrap it up. We're in a time crunch right now. But yes.
I'll save it for the next show.
More game changers coming
next
up.
week.
We're talking about the
double team that way. We don't have to go with these
up.
commercials and whatnot going on here.
Welcome back to Game Changers. Mike Cunha alongside Kim Camper. And Bo, I promise I'll let you finish your thoughts.
No, that's all right.
Lots on this one. Look, the Heat, the NBA in-season tournament, it's going on. And right now, I think there are some questions about it. We saw Jason Tatum this week kind of question the format with tiebreakers and point differential. We're in the NBA, you can't go, it's not like college football, like, hey, you need to beat a team by 30 if you want to keep your ranking. So obviously there are some adjustments I think they'll have to make this work. If you were to change the NBA in-season tournament in any way, how would you do it?
I'd take it out.
Take it out. Just get rid of it altogether.
Yeah, I just don't look. I think they're trying to squeeze, a square peg into a round hole. You know, and it's just look. I like looking at the courts. Hey, that looks pretty cool. Let me watch this game for a little while. But I mean, and I understand it. It's in tournament. It's not. You're still playing the 82 games. But now you're having arguments about, well, this tournament and this and that. Another reason for an NBA player not to play in a game. Right. And that's the thing that really concerns me now about the NBA is they're getting paid an exorbitant amount of money. You talk about the top players; they're anywhere from $40 to $80 million.
Yeah, it's insane.
They're $40 to $80 million. And oh my God, I got to play in 70 of 82 games. I can't do that. So I think this is just kind of giving them another incentive to say, well, I can't do this. I don't want to. So I don't know. Look, I love the NBA. I love what the Heat do because I think the Heat, to me, or what our community is about, blue collar, just work hard, get the job done. You don't need to be real flash. You just go ahead and get it done, and like they've done all along, develop the young guys and get them into the Heat, the Heat culture and everything, and you feel good about a team like that. The other teams I see that with the superstars, they're kind of, I don't want. I'm over that.
The Clippers are a mess trying to do some of this stuff.
And you like James Harden and him. I mean, this guy's not going to play. And Simmons is not going to play. That guy's not going to play. And I don't know. I got to sit out 4 games because my daughter's going to the prom. I don't know.
I'm with you on the in-season tournament. I think it's just going back and forth between this is a normal regular season game. This is a game that counts towards the tournament and your like the back and forth of it. Maybe if you put it at the beginning of the year, at the end of the year.
So what time if somehow they end up with a tie? And someone's got to play.
Well, there are wild cards and there are tiebreakers.
Yeah.
But listen, I'll give the NBA credit for this, for at least trying, because baseball went, hey, our game is way too long and way too many games. Let's do something to fix it. And they did. And the pitch clock worked. Games are like 2.5 hours. This is as long as a hockey game or an NBA game. You can't complain about the length of time. But the NBA they had to come up with something. I don't think this was the answer.
Why?
Because no one's paying attention until after Christmas.
Well, that's.
And I know that's mean to say.
That's just no. That's just the way scheduling is, and it's always been like that in the NBA.
Going up against the NFL.
Always been like that in the NBA. But then once the NFL steps down, it's their stage.
Sure.
Their stage for the rest of them. And so, it's funny because I remember when we first got we had the Heat for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And I remember we got the Heat, and we were all excited about it. And we're going, we got everybody down at the arena. We're doing a pregame show. And the excitement in the building was crazy. And all of a sudden, they throw the ball up. They tip it back. Guy tips it back, and he picks the ball, and he starts walking the ball down the court. Boom. Boom. And you could almost feel the air leave the building because everyone's excited about, let's run up and down the floor. Let's get some, let's fast break. And it's boom, boom, boom. Set it up, boom. It's just, I don't know. The NBA, to me, the NBA just needs to play the games the way they play with their stars playing and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, I agree.
No gimmicks.
I think the in-season tournament might be a dud. All right, Bo, we got what's trending coming up next on Game Changers.
I can't wait.
All right, welcome back to Game Changers. We're going to find out in a minute here if Jason Pierre-Paul is a game changer for the Miami Dolphins.
JPP.
They picked JPP up off
Where's
the Saints
he from? Deerfield Beach, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Local.
He's a local kid. He's coming home. Bo, I know the injury to Jalen Phillips hurts. Is JPP the answer, at least in terms of depth?
Look, he's had a great career. Super Bowl champion, possibly nudging into the Hall of Fame. I mean, he's been that kind of player. He blew his hand up and still been playing after that. But I think he's at the end of the road. He can probably come in and fill you some. I'd rather have Ogba and Van Ginkel fill those roles, I'm sure they're going to give JPP a couple opportunities. I would think that more so he'd probably get more time down in a three-point stance with that Sealer and Christian Wilkins and Raekwon Davis group in there, other than standing up. But we'll see. I just don't. I just think he's there in case somebody else goes down as a body. I don't know how many reps he's going to get in the first few games.
The Chase Claypool break glass in case of emergency kind of bring in. Yeah, look, it's tough. I mean, look, he wasn't playing with the Saints. Maybe the Dolphins can find something in him. I don't know. But we'll see if the Dolphins do. For Kim Bokamper, Steve Goldstein, who's in Toronto, calling a game. Mike Cunha, thanks again for joining us on Game Changers. We'll see you next week, and hopefully we're talking about the Dolphins.
Got to get Goldie south of the border here.
We got to bring him back.
Come on, get him back here.
Come on back.
Come on through, swim through Niagara Falls if you have to.